Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this morning webinar. If you are following this lesson, please leave a comment in the comment box. Say hello. How are you? How was your weekend? Hi, Giovanna. Good morning. Good morning. It's nice to have students from different places in Italy. Giovanna from Naples. I'm fine, thanks. And how are you? So for anyone following, please leave a comment. Say hello. Today we have arranging to go out. What does arranging mean? Arranging means organizing, to make arrangements. Joanna says, my weekend was very nice. Okay, so we can say my weekend was very nice using an adjective. Well is an adverb. So my weekend was fine. It was sunny. I have a nice view out the window. Hello, everyone. So if you're following this lesson, please leave a comment in the box. Tell me, how are you? Where are you from? So today we have arranging to go out. Arranging means organizing, making arrangements. Making arrangements means organizing. So our objectives for today: arranging to go out. In this focus activity, deciding what to do, deciding where and when to meet, discussing your availability, suggesting alternatives. So we have a very nice answer from Giovanna. I prepared a lot of food for every week and I devoted myself to my hobbies. That is beautiful. Excellent sentence. What are your hobbies? Good morning, Donatella. Thank you for joining this English webinar. We are very happy that you are with us. How are you? How was your weekend? What did you do? So today, arranging to go out, we will look at phrases to decide or suggest activities, arrange or organize meetings with our friends, and discussing Availability, when we are free. So Donatella says, I go with my husband by bike, but we stayed at home. So this past weekend, you stayed at home. Past simple. Very nice. And anyone else watching, please tell us, how was your weekend? What did you do? And how are you? Where are you from? We want to know about you. And Donatella says, I'm normally free. In English, we say, I'm retired. I'm retired. Retirement, when you end your career. So we have, where do you go? Here we have 5 different questions. I would like you to write a complete question, a full question with these words. The verb is go or go out. So, for example, where do you go? Ask questions in a complete form. Write complete questions. Let's analyze the first question. Where do you go? It's formed by where, the question word. Then you have do, auxiliary. Who do you go to the cinema with? Beautiful. I usually go to the cinema with my sons. That is great and really good work on the question. This is a preposition question. The preposition with for company comes at the end of the question. So this is perfect. Who do you go to the cinema with? So here's our question. Who do you go to the cinema with? Answer this question. You can write another question, for example, who do you go to the park with? Please ask different questions. Write questions in full form. For the next question, here we have from Donatella. Who do you go to visit the city with? Who do you go to the city with? Beautiful question. Please answer. From Donatella, when do you go on holiday? When do you go on holiday? These are wonderful questions. Please answer the questions. So now let's analyze the structure of these questions. These are open questions. Okay, so open questions. Let's look at the structure. Where is the question word? Do is the auxiliary verb. You is the subject. Go is the infinitive. We call this quasi structure. Question, auxiliary, subject, infinitive. So we have quasi, question, infinitive, subject, and auxiliary. This can help you remember the word order for open questions. Where is the question word? Where is a question word for place, location? With. Who is for company. When is for time. Where is for location. How often is for frequency. Why is for reason, the motivation. So here we have the quasi structure. Question word, we have different question words. Infinitive, subject, auxiliary. Here is the structure. So we have a very good question from Donatella. How often do you go to the park? This is a wonderful question. Please answer this question. I want to listen to your answers to these questions. Tell me about your habits. How often do you go to the park? Speak about frequency. Okay, here we have an answer from Donatella. So Donatella, you are still with us because Donatella said, I'll go, but now she's back. So that's very nice. So Donatella says, I'm going twice a week. So our question is, how often do you go to the park? This is a question for frequency about your habits and routines, things that you do regularly. So for routines and habits, we use the present simple. We use the present simple for habits and routines. For example, I go to the park once a week, or twice a week in Donatella's case. I go to the park once a week, twice a week, every day. It's very good to put the adverb of frequency at the end of the sentence. So please answer these questions. How often do you go to the park? We have questions from Giovanna. When do you go to the supermarket? I usually go to the supermarket on Friday after work. What a wonderful sentence. This is perfect, Giovanna. Very good. Now, everybody answer this question. When do you go to the supermarket? Now, I know that our habits are different now. Now we are staying at home. So there is a change in our routines. In this period of time, we are staying at home. So here I am using the present continuous. We are staying at home to speak about a change in routine, something that I don't normally do. I am staying at home in this period. It is a change. I'll give you another example with the present continuous. I'm working from home. In this moment, I am working at home. I don't normally work from home. I normally work in school. So this is the present simple. I normally work in school. This is my habit. It's my routine. This is what I do regularly. I use the present simple. I'm working from home is a change in routine. It is something I don't normally do. I am working from home now, in this moment. So this is how we use the present continuous to speak about a change in your routine. So I would like you to answer these questions about your routines and tell me what changes have there been in your routine. Speak about changes in your routine. So speak about changes in your routine. Let's make another example. I usually go to the park twice a week. I usually go to the park once a week. But now I'm staying at home. In this moment, I'm staying at home. Okay, so please, if you're following, answer these questions about your routines and your habits about going out. Here we have a wonderful answer from Donatella. In this period, everything is different. Me and my husband today together, I can't go out. It's difficult. I understand, Donatella, and I agree. It is difficult. I'm happy that you're using your time to improve your English. That is a great choice. Okay, let's continue. Here we have a slide with different places. Look at the pictures and match the locations to the pictures. Then tell me, where do you like to go? So here we have a restaurant, a bar, the cinema, a museum, the stadium, a shopping center. Look at the pictures and match these locations to the pictures. For letter A, a museum. Letter B, the stadium. Letter C, a shopping center. Letter D, a bar. Letter E, the cinema. Letter F, a restaurant. Now, in this period, wonderful, Donatella. Okay, some great answers, well done. So in this period, we cannot go out. But I would like to know, where do you like to go? And where do you miss going? We have two different questions. Where do you like to go? This is for your habit, your normal routine. And where do you miss going now? What does this mean? Where do you miss going? A place where you cannot go now and you miss going. You feel unhappy because you cannot do it. Let's give an example. Donatella says, I normally go to the cinema, but I can't go there. That is wonderful and very good work on using a pronoun. I can't go there. That is really wonderful. Word order here. I normally go. I like going to the cinema. Right now, I miss watching movies at the cinema. I watch movies on Netflix. Sometimes, not very much. So here we learn a new verb. I miss with ing form. I miss plus verb ing. You can also say I miss plus noun. Let's give some examples for I miss plus the verb in the ing form. I miss going running at the park. This is the verb I miss for an activity that you cannot do and you feel unhappy because you cannot do it now. To feel unhappy because you cannot do it now. This is the verb to miss, and you can use this verb with the ing form or with a noun. I miss going running at the park. With a noun, you can say, I miss the park. Very simply, it's very simple. I miss the park. And I would say, I miss my English school in Milan because I'm working from home now. I cannot work in school, so I miss working in school. I miss teaching my students in person. Here we have a great example from Donatella. I miss going flight. Okay, I miss taking flights or taking the airplane. I miss going on flights. Wonderful to use this with the ing form. So I'll ask you a question, Donatella. How often do you travel by airplane? How often do you travel by airplane? Now let's carry on to our next activity. Phrases to suggest. Suggestion phrases. What shall we do? Shall we go to? Let's go to. Shall we? Let's. For example, shall we go to a restaurant? Let's go to a bar. Shall we go shopping? let's have dinner. So here we are learning two different phrases for suggestion. We have shall, a modal verb. It's used for polite suggestion. Shall, and you have the subject. The infinitive. Shall is your modal verb, plus the subject we. After a modal verb, you use the infinitive form of the verb, go. To the cinema, you have a noun after. You can also use shall with the ing form of the verb, with the gerund. Shall we go shopping? So you can use shall we go shopping. Shall is your modal, we is the subject, go is the infinitive, plus the ing form of the verb, shopping. Wonderful work from Donatella. Shall we go to the museum? Let's go to the museum. Great. So here we come to our next expression. Let's is another expression to suggest. You can say, let's go to a bar, or let's have dinner. Here we infinitive form. Let's see. So Giovanna says, shall we go to a shopping center? That's great. Shall we go play football? Let's correct this. Shall we go play football? Let's play football. So let's move on to expressions to react to a suggestion. To react to a suggestion when it is a positive reaction. That sounds great. Good plan. Sure. This is a positive reaction. The negative reaction is I'd rather not. I'd prefer to. Let's. Instead. Now, I would like you to make suggestions on what to do after the lockdown, after the block. So suggest activities to do after the lockdown is over, after the block is finished. So use these expressions to suggest activities to do. Let's look at a new verb, rather. Rather is a synonym for prefer. I'd rather not. I'd prefer not. We're using I'd. I'd is the contracted form of I would. In pronunciation, don't forget to say I'd. I'd rather not. I'd prefer to. Don't forget I'd. Please repeat for pronunciation. I'd rather not. I'd rather not. I'd prefer to go to the cinema. I'd prefer. We use would to be polite. Would is a modal verb. Would is a modal verb to be polite. So Donatella says, shall you go shopping? Great plan. I'd rather not. So normally we use shall to suggest an activity to do together. So it's normally, shall we go shopping? Shall we go shopping? So a positive reaction, great plan, or I'd rather not. If your reaction is negative, you can suggest an alternative. Suggest an alternative now. So you can say, I'd prefer to go to the cinema. You can also use the verb rather to suggest an alternative. I'd rather play chess. So Donatella says, shall we go play? I'd rather go shopping. That is very good. Well done. Let's move on. When and where. Here we learn how to arrange a meeting. As we said at the beginning of the lesson, arrange means organize. So, when and where. Example, when shall we meet? Let's meet tomorrow night at 8:30 at the restaurant. Are you free tomorrow afternoon at 3? Yes, I'm free tomorrow. Let's meet at the park. So here we have questions. The first question, when shall we meet, is an open question. You have your question word when. Shall is the modal auxiliary, we is the subject, and meet is the infinitive form of the verb. The answer, let's meet tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. at the restaurant. So here we see prepositions. Prepositions. At is used for the time and for a location. Time of day, at 8:30, at 3 p.m., and location, at the restaurant or at the park. So our next question is, are you free tomorrow afternoon at 3? Yes, I'm free tomorrow. Let's meet at the park. This is a closed question, so it is not an open question. It's a yes or no question. Are you free? We have auxiliary verb, are. You is the subject. Free is an adjective. Tomorrow afternoon. So, yes, I'm free tomorrow. Let's go see Donatella's answer. When shall we go swimming? Are you free today at 2 o'clock? Let's meet in front of the church. That is wonderful. And Donatella, I really wish that we could go swimming for real today. Unfortunately, we cannot, but it's a great sentence. Just one thing. We normally say go swimming. Go is the infinitive, and it's used with the ing form. Go swimming, go running. Here are some negative reactions and suggesting an alternative. No, I'm not free at 3. Let's meet at 5 instead. No, I'm not free Thursday. Let's meet Friday instead. Or a positive reaction. That sounds great. Good plan. Sure, see you tomorrow. So very nice. Negative, no, I'm not free at 3. Let's meet at 5 instead. What does instead mean? It means an alternative. And instead, for an alternative, comes at the end of the sentence. Yes, let's meet at 5 instead. Let's meet Friday instead at the end of the sentence. Very positive ways to react are that sounds great, good plan, sure, see you tomorrow. Let's move on and review these phrases. Shall we go to? Let's go to. That sounds great. Good plan. Sure. I'd rather not. I'd prefer to. Let's instead. Are you free tomorrow at 3? Yes, I'm free tomorrow. Let's meet at the park. No, I'm not free Thursday. Let's meet Friday instead. So suggest activities to do and react to these suggestions. Suggest and react. Suggest activities and react to the suggestions. Suggest activities to do and react to the suggestions. Decide when and where to meet. Now imagine that the lockdown is almost finished, we hope. So here we are imagining what we will do after the lockdown is over. So Donatella says, shall we go in the afternoon? Let's correct your reaction. You can say, no, I'm not free in the afternoon. Oh, sorry. Let's meet tomorrow instead. Let's meet tomorrow instead, with instead at the end of the sentence. So here we saw phrases to suggest and react, suggest an activity to do, and react. Now we have a couple minutes, so let's review today's language. Today we looked at open questions. For example, where do you go? Who do you go out with? When do you go out? Where do you go? How often do you go out? Why do you go to the park? So here, the structure of an open question is the question word, where, the question word, do is the auxiliary, you is the subject, and then you have the infinitive. We call this the quasi-structure. Question, infinitive, subject, question, auxiliary, subject, infinitive. Question, where, auxiliary, do, subject, you, go, infinitive. Then we looked at a new verb, I miss. For example, I miss working in school, something that I cannot do now, and I feel unhappy because I cannot do it now. We can use I miss with the ing form of the verb, or we can say I miss plus noun. For example, I miss my English school in Milan. I feel unhappy because I cannot go there now. Finally, we worked on expressions to suggest an activity and to react to a suggestion and suggest an alternative. Shall we go to the park? Let's go to the cinema. Shall we play soccer? Let's play tennis instead. We learnt the verb rather. Rather is a synonym for prefer, and we used the modal verb would to be polite. I would rather not. I'd rather not. I'd prefer to go to the park. And we learnt instead, a word for an alternative. We put this instead at the end of the sentence. For example, let's meet tomorrow instead. So everyone, thank you for following this MyS webinar. We have webinars for all levels every day. at every hour of the day. So please continue to follow us. Have a great day. Bye bye.